Hello everyone and welcome to Busy Little Minds. If you're a new viewer, my channel is all about making learning easy and intuitive. Today, I'm back with another installment in my bite-sized science series. Today's episode will be about different types of plants and their structure. So, without any further ado, let's begin. First, let's briefly touch on the evolution of plants, how they went from microscopic things to tall trees. Scientists think the first plants started out as green algae living underwater. Then, after millions of years of evolution, ferns, conifers, and finally flowering plants evolved. How did this happen? First, plants learned how to live on land by developing structures that allow them to grow upward and conserve their water. To help with structure, they developed cell walls and different types of tissue. To conserve their water, they developed cuticles, which are waxy layers that help plants conserve water. Next, let's learn about two different types of plants, vascular and non-vascular plants. Non-vascular plants existed even before vascular plants did. Non-vascular plants don't have structures that help them distribute nutrients or water. Each cell absorbs water and nutrients on its own. Vascular plants have tube-like structures which are usually in the form of stems and roots. These structures carry and distribute nutrients and water. Most vascular plants have seeds, but some vascular plants don't have seeds. Vascular plants have three types of tissue that help them distribute water and nutrients through the stems and roots. Xylem is a group of cells stacked together in a tube-like way, forming vessels that distribute water to the plant. Xylem also provides structural support. Phloem is a group of cells stacked together in a tube-like way, forming vessels that distribute food to the plant. Finally, cambium is a group of cells that makes new phloem and xylem cells. It sits between the xylem and phloem cells and increases the thickness of the stem and roots. Plants have different structures based on the way they reproduce and if they're vascular or non-vascular. Let's start by learning about the structure of seedless plants. Non-vascular seedless plants are only a few cells thick because each individual cell absorbs water on its own. Because of this, they usually live in wet, damp environments, so there is an abundance of water for them to absorb. Vascular seedless plants are very small in numbers, because most are extinct. Some vascular seedless plants that are still alive include ferns, ground pines, spike mosses, and horsetails. These plants can grow taller than non-vascular plants because they have structures such as xylem and phloem to support their growth. All seeded plants are vascular. There are two types of seeded plants, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Gymnosperms are like seeded plants that don't flower, like pine trees. Angiosperms are plants that flower, such as apple trees. Seeded plants have slightly different structures than vascular seedless plants. They include leaves, stems, and roots. Let's start by learning about leaves. Leaves are the organ that converts sunlight into food, otherwise known as photosynthesis. If you don't know what photosynthesis is, then watch my video about basic biology here. Leaves have many different shapes. They also have layers, like skin. The epidermis is the outer layer of a leaf. The epidermis is the layer that has the cuticle, to conserve water. Some openings in the epidermis, called stomata, allow the leaf to carry out photosynthesis. The opening and closing of the stomata is controlled by guard cells. The layer beneath the epidermis is the palisade layer. This layer contains chloroplasts. The chloroplast is the structure that makes leaves green and also carries out photosynthesis. The final layer of the leaf is called the spongy layer. The cells in the spongy layer are very loosely packed. There are air pockets in the spongy layer where CO2 and oxygen are stored. Almost all of the vascular tissue is in the spongy layer. The next structure is the stem. The stem is simple. It supports leaves and branches so that the plant can grow tall. The final structure is the roots. The roots absorb water, nutrients, and gases from soil, and it stores food. Roots support the plant too, and prevent it from being blown away or carried away by water. If you enjoyed this bite of science, like this video. To check out more videos like this, click my playlist on the left. Share this video if you found it entertaining or educational. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, keep learning.